Yes, there we go. Live. Sell a house wholesale real estate training number 103 on Friday, April. How about April? April 10th, 2015. And we are live, a minute and a half late because, I don't know, time went by. We were talking about something. So, good morning, everybody.
Good
Morning,
morning. It's
John.
February, April, isn't it? I love this. Is my favorite time of year, February, April. I I, I actually I kind of wish it was February to be quite honest with you. I'd love to be at the point monetarily I am right now. I would have loved to have been here 2 months ago. Then that would leave 10 months left of the year to keep making more money. But it's not February, April. It's April what today? 9th?
10.
Holy
10.
crap. Yeah, you know what's funny? I feel like I lost the whole day yesterday. I was working on a rehab project for an investor, I guess you could say, doing a clean out. And we started up there at 7:30, and I didn't walk in my door yesterday till 7:40 last night. So we didn't even get out of there till about 6 till after 6:30. So it was a
Really?
pretty long day.
Wow. And that's the second day when we all thought it was all
Day
going
two, and
to.
there's a day three to this clean out because I gotta um, my two guys need a ride, and I'm not going to go pick them up and drop them off there to do 2 hours worth of work and then drive them the other side of town. So I'm at the point now, and this is kind of what I want to get into here on Freedom Friday a little bit. I've got to go back over there actually for about 2 hours this morning. Couple items that didn't fit in the dumpster, I've got to load up and bring over to a Goodwill so that they can get out of there somewhere. I got to make sure that the crackhead owners, literally, get their car hauled and towed out of there. Otherwise, I'm calling a salvage yard and it's gone at noon if they don't get it out beforehand. And just do a little, I'm doing this cleanup for another investor, so I want to make sure it's really up to par. And then I just want to go through and do a little detail work, make sure there's no last little items throughout the house that can be tossed, or sweep up in the front yard a little bit by the front of the dumpster where loading tons of stuff onto a dumpster, you're going to make a little mess around the dumpster area, so clean that up. So just a little detail work. But the reason I'm talking about that is because when you're in real estate, for Paul and I, we're in real estate to be investors and owners of the business, not actually having to go and load stuff on trailers and clean up job sites and sweep rocks and yada, 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 maybe set up our guys and manage things. But I've been spending, I think, the last yesterday and a couple hours this morning way too involved in the labor side of things for what I consider pennies on the dollar, because the actual profit of doing this clean out versus me going out and landing the next deal and contracting the seller, the differences of income for me going and sweeping and cleaning up a house for say 4 hours, what I can accomplish in wholesale real estate as far as getting out, talking to sellers, and negotiating the next deal, I'm going to make a significantly more money. Put it this way: this last deal we closed, we netted $28,000 profit on. I went and spoke to a seller. It took me less than 4 hours. I probably had about a total of 6 hours into that deal before I had it on under contract at a price that we were able to flip it within 48 hours, make a $28,000 profit. I was able to do that in 6. And when I add up all the hours that I worked over at this clean out job we did for an investor over the course of the last 2 days, and my time of just running back and forth to the job site, putting the gas, the time, what have you, my actual profit on that, net profit on that, is $1,000 for about 24 hours worth of work. Hardly seems worth it when I know I can go out there for 4 to 6 and generate $28,000. I find myself yesterday over there managing this clean out, asking myself this question: what the hell am I doing here? This is so not worth the $1,000, because I could be out there in the same time period generating tens of thousands of dollars. And that's kind of where I would like to kind of get into this hangout is understanding, you know, what productive work really means. And in my world, Paul's world, productivity is based on revenue. Yes, I was being productive, but I was doing something that I can easily find and replace myself, duplicate myself to do. And where is my time better spent? On activities that can generate tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, according to what you just said there, John, you know, your 6 hours of work that it took to generate a $28,000 profit, and your 24 hours worth of work there that you spent not making $28,000 profits. Basically, I mean, if you you take the 6 hours and you divide that into the 24 that you spent there, that's 4 times 28. You just threw away over $100,000 working on that project.
Exactly. How does that make you feel? It makes me feel like crap. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Now you really want to go back over there and pick up this last little bit of stuff today, don't you? But hey, you know, here again, what have we been talking about for the last week and a half? Systems, you know, and this is just another system that needs to be put into place in our business, obviously, because a lot of the deals that we work on and that we do, there is oftentimes a lot of stuff at these houses, and, you know, whether it be just total trash or whatever the case is, you know, a lot of times there's a lot of stuff there, and a lot of times there's people that want some of this stuff, whatever the case might be. And so, you know, after this, obviously, this has opened our eyes to another system that we're going to have to put into place here so that we can have somebody else doing all of this time-consuming work that, you know, I'd be more than happy to pay somebody, what, 24 hours times 10, $240 times 2 people even, you know, $500 out of my pocket so that we could still be out there bringing in $100,000 worth of deals. You bet. I'll pay somebody $500 all three times a week if I have to, to continue, or 4 times a week if I have to, according to the thing right here, to keep that happening. You know, that it just it doesn't make any sense. Like John says, the difference between productive work and busy work is miles of difference apart there, and this is a perfect example of what some busy work is that obviously within, you know, this business has to be done, but you know what? It doesn't need to be done by us. It needs to be done by someone else, because we need to be doing productive work, and we need to be doing things that are going to be generating the money to pay for someone else to be doing that busy work. Gotcha, drinking juice.
Worst possible timing to pass the torch.
I was passing it right as it started to go up, so I mean.
I knew you were going there, but I'm like, man, my throat is so dry and scratchy right now. I've got to get a sip in anyway. Yeah, clear my throat a little bit there. Yes, like to what Paul just said there. Our profit on this deal is about $1,000. If we paid a guy to replace me $500 and our profit was only $500, guess what? It's still a profit. We're not, Paul or I weren't out there spending all our time out there. We were spending our time, as Paul pointed out. I potentially could have found 4 deals in that 24-hour period that we discussed that make $28,000 a piece. Our average deal, it seems to be around 12 grand. So we at least left $48,000 on the table with me working, managing this job. But guess what? Sometimes you got to start out doing those things, but you've got to have the mindset to think about, how can I replace myself? How can I duplicate myself? How can I use leverage? And leverage meaning other people's money, other people's time, other people's skills, what have you. And what got me thinking the whole time is, all right, Paul and I need to implement a system. We need to find a guy who can do this. When we have this type of a project thrown in front of us, which we're going to actually be, we know that we're going to be getting a lot more projects similar to this. We're going to start putting the pieces in play and the systems in place so that we're not spending our time doing it, so we can do the more productive things, which is closing business, which is getting the signature of a seller onto a contract. Whether that's really the most important thing. And you've got to have a constant flow of deals being lined up into escrow so the paychecks don't ever stop. And that was kind of a problem that we had early on in the year, is that we had a bunch of deals in escrow. I went on a cruise. We kind of slacked off a little bit in our aggression towards landing more deals, thought we were covered. And what was it, like 5 of those properties didn't close because of issues on the title. So all our paychecks just disappeared, and we learned a valuable lesson. And that's why we're here doing these hangouts, is because we're 2 regular Joe Schmoes, really, who figured out how to build a wholesale business from the street level, so to speak, with no money, nothing. And we want to take people onto our team that have the drive and the desire, but maybe they don't have the money or the knowledge to jump into this thing. And you know what? You don't need the money or the knowledge. All you need really is the desire. You don't even know. You need to know how you're going to do all of it. That's the awesome part, is that you just need the desire, period, and reach out and ask for help.
I'm going to say the drive and the desire, because you know what? A lot of people come to us with the desire but don't have any drive, and their desire fades in a short period of time, and they're down the road back to doing what they were doing, which is basically nothing, because it's the lazy way and the easy thing to do. So if you don't come here with some drive to see success and to put in the time that it takes to actually realize that success, you know, all the desire that you bring to the table is a waste of your time and ours. So make sure you bring some drive with your game.
Great distinction there. And you know what? Speaking of drive, we've got a guy, we've had several noodlers come and go since November last year. We've got a guy who stuck with us from November, and a lead that he started working on back in November just came to fruition. It happens to be a $30,000 gross profit to the business, the resale on this property. Being part of our team, he's going to see a $6,000 paycheck. And he's stuck with it. Mark now has made a couple of small deals since November, and we helped him to build a pipeline. And now that he's kind of fallen into place with what he's good at in this business, we've unlocked what his contribution really is going to be. He's going to be making probably $6,000 to $12,000 a month regularly, probably throughout the next several months with us. And I only see that increasing because of his contribution increasing our business. Our business, because of the systems like we're talking about that are getting put into place, is going to increase our bottom line. And the reason I bring up Mark is because of what Paul said. You can have all the desire in the world, but is it a burning desire, and is it enough to drive you? And then do you have drive, and are you willing to make a commitment and commit to staying focused on your goal or your desire to make it become a reality? And sadly, most people do not. As we've found out in putting together this PropertyNoodlers in the last 6 months, that we've met with several people who talked a good game and we got real excited about, and then things didn't happen right off the bat, and they kind of dropped, they weaned themselves away, and they've stopped. And the reason I say it's like you got to be bullheaded and keep the desire alive and keep moving forward is because in a situation like this, it's all about building a sales funnel. It's a business about sales and marketing. We said that from day one. Wholesaling really has nothing to do with real estate. It's all about sales and marketing, and the marketing is attracting or gathering leads. And then the sales is dealing with those leads and those prospects once they've been gathered and attracted. But you've got to build a funnel, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's not get rich quick. You got to be committed to success. You got to have a drive and keep at it. What are we? Mark's been with us since November, December, January, February, March. where he's in his 6th month, and it took about 3 months to really start. All right, I got to check regularly. It's not a lot, but hey, great supplement to my income, to the point where at now he's going to probably walk out of here this month making well over $10,000 alone just this month. I mean, what hourly job are you going to get out there that's going to do that? And really, what Mark's doing, he's having so much fun. The guy calls me at least 2 times a day with this like chipper, energetic excitement in his voice, because he loves what we're doing, and he loves the fact that he's going to be able to make, $10,000, $8,000 to $12,000 a month regularly doing something he's having a blast with. And you got to stay committed. If it doesn't happen overnight, give it a little time. Learn the business. You know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know, and you got to have stickability and stick-to-itiveness.
100%. Stick-to-itiveness. You got to stick to it, because if you don't, you're just not going to get anywhere, just like most people don't. And this goes beyond wholesale real estate, because John and I are both involved with a network marketing organization as well, and we see the same thing over there. People come into an opportunity of any kind, and they have these great high expectations that they're going to make millions of dollars, or they're going to make thousands of dollars, or whatever it is, and it's all going to happen overnight. And it doesn't happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. No, there's no such thing as an overnight sensation. It just doesn't happen that way. It seems like it, because you have somebody that you've never heard of all of a sudden becomes very popular overnight, but it's not because they just woke up that morning and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this now today, and tomorrow my life's going to change and the whole world's going to know who I am. No. They've been working at this for years and years and years and years, and finally something snaps, something changes, it all comes together, and then, bam, overnight, you have a sensation. And the same thing goes in business and making money and everything else. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't have overnight success. You have to work at it and work at it and work at it. And eventually, at some point in time, it's going to all come together, and then, bam, overnight, you will have your success. But you're not going to get that overnight success until you put your dues in, until you pay your time, until you spend the hours and hours and days and weeks and months and potentially even years, working and learning and growing and struggling and doing all the things that you have to do in order for this to happen for you. So when you come into this business, this organization, or any other business or organization, understand it ain't going to happen overnight. I don't care how many poster child advertising testimonials they have about the person who did this and within this very short period of time made all this money. Okay, I'm not saying those don't happen, but they're very, very rare. It takes a special person. It takes being the right person, that happened to be in the right place at the right time, which most of you, first of all, are not the right person to begin with, which is where you're going to have to put a lot of time and effort in to begin with, is in yourself. And secondarily, is where, you're not in the right place in the right time. And so it's a very, very rare occasion that that perfect combination comes together and somebody actually really does become an overnight success in a very, very short period of time. But one good thing about a property noodler system is having someone else before you who's put in all of that time and effort, that's willing to share everything that they've picked up over that period of time to help expedite and shorten that time frame that you yourself would have to put in on your own. That's what the difference is.
I say yes, that is the difference. I want to point this out and then go back to something you said earlier, is that you want to learn from people that are actually out there doing it, not just presenting you the theory on how it's done, but are actually proving their theories to be true. You want to learn from people who are actually closing deals. You want to learn this business from somebody that actually knows how to gather leads, how to attract leads, where to look for the leads, where to market, how to market to the leads, how to find the people that are in motivating situations to sell their homes. And then you want to learn how to approach them. how to talk to them, and you want to learn from someone who knows how to close business. Somebody that when they walk in and they're in front of that seller and they're sitting down at the dinner table in their home, you know that closer knows he's walking out with that contract. You want to learn from that guy. Yes, I'm going to toot my own horn and say I'm that guy. I'm very confident with my ability to get a signature. I pretty much know that when I walk into a meeting with a seller and they meet my criteria and we run them through the ringer, we have a very specific criteria for who we're going to spend our time going belly to belly with to get a contract. If they fit, if they meet the A, the B, and the C, and the D in my criteria, it's a matter of time. You put them in front of me, boom, they're getting closed. And you want to learn from someone who knows how to do that, or from an organization of people that know how to do that. And that's kind of a plug right there for us here at PropertyNoodlers, is that we know how to do all those things. But I want to go back to something Paul said about an overnight success. And we're talking about stick-to-itiveness, stickability. There's an author out there who both Paul and I had the opportunity to meet and see actually, were you in town for Greg Reed?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And we got to see him speak. He wrote a book called Stickability, which admittedly, I haven't read this one yet, but I read his other book called 3 Feet from Gold. And in this book, he goes around basically and interviews he's like a modern day Napoleon Hill. He goes around and he interviews top CEOs, top entrepreneurs, people who've really excelled at things, down to even people who've built nonprofit organizations that have just started in like a corner of your bedroom at your desk and has turned into a multi-billion-dollar international nonprofit organization. So he talks with a lot of people that have had massive success in their lives and in their business. And this is a great book because he kind of asks them all the same question, like what their secret is to success, and they all kind of have a unifying thing. And that's why you hear me and Paul, or I should say Paul and I, talk about it so often on here, is about who you are as a person, and your personal and self-development is critically important to your success in anything. Is who you are as a person, how you think, and how well you're able to control how you think, control your emotions, and have the right frame of mind. And the wonderful thing about all of this is, if you're not that person today, but you have a burning desire to be that person, you can be anybody you want. You have everything in your life right now because you attracted it into your life by your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, which you have control. So wouldn't it make sense to think that if you have control over your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and the thoughts and feelings and actions have led you to maybe a bad place in life, wouldn't it be illogical to realize that you yourself attracted that bad situation? And the longer you spend and the more time you spend being a victim of that situation, rather than realizing that you're the one who actually created it, wouldn't it be logical to think that if you can change your brain, you can change your game? I mean, that's a little quip. I just came up with that. I'm sure someone said that one before. The point of the Greg Reed, bringing up Greg Reed and telling you a little bit about what this 3 Feet from Gold book is, I can't remember the guy he's interviewing. He's a CEO of a major corporation. Actually, he's the founder and CEO, and he was a self-starter. And he asked him, he's like, how long did you work at this business until you can sit back and said, I've made it. I'm here. I've reached the plateau, so to speak. How, were you an overnight success, pretty much was kind of the gist of the question. The guy said, well, I've been working hard for a really long time. It took me 11 years to become an overnight success. Meaning, I love that quote, because meaning it doesn't happen overnight. One day, but when it does happen, it feels like it's overnight, because one day you literally wake up and you go, like for Paul and I, holy crap, we've got $180,000 in gross sales closing in the next 2 weeks. And if we could do that every 2 weeks, do the numbers. That's a lot of damn money. And it's like all of a sudden it popped for us one day. And it feels like, oh my God, it's like, well, now it's like we're making all this money overnight, but it hasn't been overnight. You see, it was 3 years of hard work, throwing mud against the wall, banging our thick bullheads through every single obstacle that came our way. So, you know, and I still don't feel like Paul and I have really reached the success that we want to reach, because we know there's a lot of improvement. We know we need a bigger and better team. We know we need people coming and sending us an email on the Property Noodlers and getting involved and learning from us so we can get to more people, help more people, get to more motivated sellers and get more deals and make more money, and create systems for the stuff like printing out mailers, create a system for the stuff like running a check to escrow. These are things you hire people to do. Running a rehab project. That's why you need a general contractor. So you're out there doing what makes you the money, and that's looking at the investments and pulling the trigger. That's sitting with the seller and getting a signature on a contract. That's knowing the investor buyers with the cash so you can quickly assign your deal to them. That's where the rubber meets the road. But all these little things in between. You know, if I'm not sitting down closing business, to me, I'm not doing anything productive. Now, it's work that has to get done, but that's busy work. So you've got to learn the difference. I feel like I'm really all over the place today with some of these concepts, but it comes down, really, the overall thing is about focus, commitment, education.
I got 3 words for you. I got 3 words for you, John. Right there. If you want it, that's all you got to do right there. If you want it, that's what'll make you an overnight success. If you want it, never give up. And while along the way you're never giving up, just keep thinking about, how can I fire myself from having to do this piece of work that ain't making me any money right now? And you keep thinking about how you fire yourself from one little piece of work that ain't making you any money along the way, and eventually you'll have enough money that you can fire yourself and you can get somebody else to do that piece of work, and you can spend more time on what it is that you within your business that makes you the most money. But it all comes from these 3 words right here. That's it. Never give up. If you want it, never give up. That's all I got to say. And with that, we're out of here with the Napoleon Hill prayer that goes, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom," which, John, you messed up on the other one, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Everybody have a great day, and we are out of here, everybody.
Did I say